Welcome to this video. Today, we are exploring Tomb of Sand by Geetanjali Shree, a story of grief, rebellion, self-discovery, and the courage to live beyond age and expectation. This novel won the International Booker Prize for its unique narrative, profound insight, and bold storytelling. At its heart is Ma, an 80-year-old woman whose life changes after the death of her husband. Instead of sinking into sorrow, she embarks on a journey of discovery, both outward, across countries and borders, and inward, into memory, identity, and freedom. What follows is a story that is funny, moving, thought-provoking, and deeply human. In this video, we'll go chapter by chapter through Ma's journey so you can experience it as if someone is telling it to you. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Loss. Ma's life begins in a quiet, orderly house in Delhi. Her days have always been predictable. Tea in the morning, small chores, books, and conversations with family. But after her husband passes away, silence fills the house in a way that is almost unbearable. Her children expect her to mourn quietly, follow rituals, and accept her age and widowhood as natural constraints. Yet Ma, even in her grief, refuses to simply fade away. She notices how much of her life was shaped by others' expectations and starts to question her role. For the first time, she allows herself to reflect on the choices she made and the life she led. Grief, which could have crushed her, becomes a catalyst for awakening. She feels a restlessness, a stirring of curiosity and rebellion. The house, which once felt safe, now feels confining, almost like a cage. And in that discomfort, Ma begins to dream of freedom. Chapter 2. Awakening. The days after her husband's death mark the beginning of Ma's transformation. She starts reading books she had ignored, walks in the garden at odd hours, and observes life with a fresh perspective. The aroma of tea, the sounds of birds, the laughter of children. Suddenly, these small details feel extraordinary. She also begins to question social norms. Why must elderly women be confined to passivity? Why is joy considered inappropriate at her age? Even small acts, like speaking her mind or laughing freely, become subtle rebellions. Ma reflects on her past, her marriage, the dreams she put aside, the choices she made for others. The grief she feels is not just about loss, but about the decades she lived constrained. And in these reflections, the first sparks of liberation appear. At this stage, Ma's character begins to expand from a widow in mourning to a woman ready to reclaim herself. Her curiosity, humor, and courage start to define her new identity. Chapter 3. The Granddaughter. Tara, Ma's granddaughter, enters the story as a contrast and a companion. Young, modern, and impatient, she initially finds Ma's sudden energy and curiosity bewildering. Why would her grandmother want to travel, learn, or defy expectations at such an age? Over time, Tara starts to see life through Ma's eyes. She begins to understand that life is not about following rules or living according to others' expectations. It is about curiosity, courage, and choice. Their conversations range from humorous banter to profound discussions about grief, freedom, and memory. Tara challenges Ma and worries for her, but she also learns from Ma's courage. Through their relationship, the novel explores how generations can connect, influence, and heal each other. Listeners can imagine the laughter, the gentle arguments, and the warmth that develops between grandmother and granddaughter, a bond that becomes central to the story. Chapter 4. Crossing Borders. Ma's journey begins to take a physical form when she decides to travel, crossing city and country boundaries. Her trip to Pakistan becomes a turning point, both literally and metaphorically. She confronts history, memory, and fear head-on. Memories of partition surface as she crosses the border. She recalls the chaos, displacement, violence, and loss that shaped her generation. But she also remembers moments of kindness, resilience, and human connection in the midst of tragedy. Each step she takes across the border represents liberation. She confronts personal grief alongside collective trauma, and through this begins to understand the interplay of history and identity. For listeners, this journey illustrates that freedom often comes from facing the past rather than avoiding it. Ma's reflections are vivid. She notices the colors of the streets, the sounds of markets, and the faces of people who carry the weight of history. Every detail mirrors her inner journey. Chapter 5. Humor in resistance. Even in the gravest moments, Ma's humor shines through. She observes bureaucratic absurdities, societal contradictions, and family quirks with sharp wit. Her humor is never cruel. It is liberating, defiant, and deeply human. At the border, she laughs at ridiculous rules and absurd officials. In her household, she teases family members who take life too seriously. This laughter is her shield and her tool. It allows her to confront grief, history, and expectation with dignity and courage. Listeners can imagine her sly smiles, ironic comments, and playful defiance, all of which make her a compelling, relatable, and unforgettable character. Chapter 6. Reclaiming Identity. As Ma's journey continues, she begins reclaiming her identity fully. She rides scooters, navigates new cities, and speaks boldly to anyone who doubts her. Every small act becomes a declaration. Age, gender, and tradition will not define her. Her family is shocked at first. They cannot understand why she challenges every expectation, but slowly they begin to see her courage and the joy she finds in living authentically. This stage of Ma's journey shows that identity is not fixed. It is reclaimed through action, reflection, and sometimes quiet rebellion. She is no longer a widow defined by loss. She is a woman fully alive. Chapter 7. Healing Generations. Ma and Tara's bond deepens during their travels and reflections. Through Ma, Tara learns about resilience, courage, and the value of living fully. Through Tara, Ma reconnects with her vitality and joy. Old family conflicts surface along with unspoken secrets and past misunderstandings. But instead of driving them apart, these moments become opportunities for healing. Grief is transformed into connection, sorrow into laughter, and silence into dialogue. Listeners can feel the tenderness and humor in their interactions, as well as the warmth that comes from mutual understanding and shared experience. Chapter 8. The Journey to Pakistan. Ma's journey to Pakistan is both transformative and confrontational. She revisits places shaped by partition, meets people who live through similar experiences, and witnesses landscapes heavy with history and memory. This journey is challenging, emotionally, physically, and socially, but each step allows her to reconcile personal grief with historical trauma. She realizes that confronting the past is necessary for freedom and understanding. Listeners can imagine the vivid border towns, the conversations with strangers, the quiet moments of reflection, all mirroring her internal liberation. Chapter 9. Metaphor of Sand. The tomb of sand symbolizes life's impermanence. Sand can bury grief, but it can also nurture new growth. Ma reflects on this as she moves through her journey, realizing that sorrow does not have to imprison her. Each loss carries the possibility of renewal. Listeners can feel her reflections as philosophical yet personal, as she connects her grief, history, and joy into a single tapestry. Life, like sand, is ever-shifting, ever-changing, and full of potential. Chapter 10. Rebirth and Reflection. By the end, Ma is transformed. She has crossed physical borders, emotional boundaries, and societal limits. Her journey, full of grief, humor, rebellion, and discovery, shows that liberation is not about escaping life, but about fully engaging with it. Ma is playful, bold, reflective, and deeply human. Her story teaches that age, loss, or societal expectation need not limit the human spirit. Courage, curiosity, and humor can redefine life at any stage. Listeners are left with the sense that Ma's journey continues beyond the pages and every moment of courage and joy we choose to embrace. Tomb of Sand is a story that lingers. It is about grief and joy, history and memory, rebellion and love. It reminds us that life is meant to be lived fully, with courage, curiosity, and humor. Thank you for joining this chapter-wise journey through Ma's extraordinary life. If you enjoyed this summary, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. And remember, even in grief, there is the possibility of laughter, freedom, and new beginnings.